The Tokyo Olympics say they'll allow some local fans to go to the games when they open next month. That announcement was just made this morning. At 5:05, we're going to talk with ABC's Karen Travers. There's this controversy that started last week over President Biden's stance on abortion, and it had to do with what the Catholic bishops were threatening to take a communion away from him and other officials who support abortion rights. Then you add members of Congress who rushed to the president's defense over the weekend. And then finally, the president was asked directly about the controversy. So what was his response and what happens next from the Catholic Church? We'll find out when we talk with Karen in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and start with some of these stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Two members of the LA City Council have filed a motion to formally withdraw from the LA Homeless Services Authority. Councilman Joe Buscaino and Paul Corrett say the agency is falling far short of its goals and the city's needs to create its own agency. Buscaino says the city council has become completely detached from decision-making within the HSA. He says its past audits have shown the agency only put about 3% of the people they meet into housing. That's far short of its goal that was supposed to be 50%. The LA County Sheriff's Department says officers in the city of Bell have shot and killed a guy who allegedly pointed a gun at them. The cops say they answered a call from the man last night who said he was depressed and had a gun. They say the officer spoke with him and he put the gun down, but he picked it up again and pointed it at them, and that's when there was the shooting. California's independent systems operator has started building a system to better understand the effectiveness of flex alerts.
California independent system operator COO Mark Rothletter says flex alerts typically save between 300 and 500 megawatts, but it's hard to know exactly where those savings are coming from and even potentially whether more savings could be tapped into. And that's why he says the operator is working with a company called Energy Web to
register and really potentially identify the megawatts and the amount of actual response that's actually occurring.
He says the system isn't ready yet.
We hope to be ready more in the summer along the way, and hopefully within a month or so.
Rothletter says part of building this understanding depends on people registering at flexalert.org. Chris Ancarlo, KFI News.
A Muslim employee of the LA School District is suing the district, alleging she was treated differently by a manager who gave favorable treatment to Latino employees and told the plaintiffs to get psychological help. The LA Superior Court lawsuit alleges racial and religious discrimination, whistleblower retaliation, and failure to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The employee did not say what the damages were in the suit. CAL FIRE Riverside says a wildfire burning in Thermal near Indio has burned about 20 acres, but it is 10% contained. The fire started yesterday afternoon. The National Weather Service says it was 117 degrees in Thermal, and there's a heightened fire danger today because of dry, gusty conditions in some desert areas. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says Medicare should expand its coverage to include eyeglasses, dental care, and hearing aids.
This long-time lack of coverage has plagued and burdened people since Medicare was started in 1965.
He says the Biden administration's infrastructure plan is a way to update the national Medicare program. All right, when we come back, we'll talk with ABC's Karen Travers over the controversy about President Biden's stance on abortion and how the Catholic Church is taking that, what the president has said about the Catholic Church's stance, and what the Catholic Church plans to do next. But right now, let's say good morning to Soren Crump, checking out a stall on the 210. Hi, Soren.
Good morning. Westbound side of the 210 at Haven in Rancho Cucamonga, there is a stall that's taking away the carpool lane. The watch for slowing as you approach. In Chino, on the eastbound side of the 60, just after Reservoir, there is a crash involving a big rig and a couple of other cars along the right shoulder. And in Hollywood, there is a work zone, 101 northbound between Highland and the 134. The 3 left lanes are closed for road work until 6 a.m. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Soren Crump.
5:05 on your wake-up call. Karen Travers, good morning to you. Let's talk about the president's, well, his stance on abortion and what the Catholic Church seems to think about it. This all started last week.
It did. It started last week with the actual vote among the Catholic bishops, but it's certainly a debate that's been going for some time and really revved into overdrive with the election of President Biden last fall. Biden is, of course, only the second Catholic president after JFK, and he's arguably the most observant president, religiously observant president overall since Jimmy Carter. He goes to Mass every week. He even went while he was in England on his foreign trip last week. It's really a big part of his public identity, his personal identity. But, last week the president said that this is a private matter. But certainly this debate is now playing out in public after the bishops voted overwhelmingly to support a measure that could be an early step toward limiting communion for President Biden and other Catholic politicians who support abortion rights. This is setting up a debate among American Catholics. You had the Vatican warning the American bishops against making this move, saying, don't do this. And the president last week saying he didn't think it was going to happen. Well, it did in that vote, but the final vote won't happen until the fall when they actually have the draft text and put this all together and put it up for a vote. It's got to pass with a 2/3 majority, but important to note, this only actually counts when the local diocese makes a decision on this. The Catholic bishops can't tell every single city and region what to do. Cardinals and bishops can make decisions about whether or not to deny communion in their particular area.
And I thought it was interesting, too, that the president thought that this wouldn't pass, and then the vote was 168-55. Yeah. I mean, you almost kind of see the writing on the wall.
Sure, and it's not clear if he was saying that they weren't going to vote to make that happen, because you're right, the writing was sort of on the wall. The fact that they were even bringing it up indicated that support was there for it, and that was an issue where the bishops who were opposed to this motion, this policy, said the fact that it's so divisive, the fact that there's so many people against this means we shouldn't even bring it up in the first place. But I think maybe what the president was saying is that he ultimately won't be denied communion, and notably, the cardinal here in the Washington Archdiocese has already said that his bishops will not deny communion to Biden and other politicians, and we're waiting to see what the bishop-elect in Wilmington, Delaware, where the president often goes to mass, what he has to say about this.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon at all, that you'll see certain bishops who go against the church in certain ways or on certain issues, so that wouldn't be a surprise at all. I think what I did find interesting was the amount of support that the president got over the weekend from Congress members.
Yeah, this was notable to see this statement from 60 Catholic Democrats who were urging the bishops to not move forward and deny communion to politicians who would support abortion rights. And they say that the bishops should be outlining their own commitment to what the Catholic Democrats said was making real the basic principles that are at the heart of Catholic social teaching. They say that they're more in line with Catholic teaching when it comes to things like childcare, health care, and other social policies. But of course, abortion becomes such a lightning rod of controversy, such a big thing. And now this will play out over the next couple of months.
All right, Karen, thanks for the update on that. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thanks. See you later. ABC's Karen Travers. And when the president was asked about it over the weekend, he referred to it as a private matter. And in many ways it is, but it's going to all play out in the headlines because when you're the president and you are taking a stance on that and you are so deep within your faith, then it is going to play out and it does become controversial and you are going to see a split. So, I'll be interested to see how that one plays out. But she's absolutely right. Even if these bishops, let's say all 200 plus of them vote to deny communion to those who have that abortion stance, it wouldn't matter necessarily because, like she said, in Washington, D.C., they can say, we're not going to go with that. You can take communion. So it will be local anyway. So it's not like he's not going to find a church that won't allow him communion. But it's just if nothing else, it would be symbolic. Let's put it that way. All right, let's get back to some of the stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel says President Biden's meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin was a step in the right direction, but only time will tell when it comes to cyber attacks.
I think it stopped at the center of that relationship. We won't really know until eight months from now if Russia breaks one of the red lines.
Biden's meeting with Putin ended his first overseas trip since coming into office. The chairs of the House Problem Solvers Caucus, I'm not sure I knew we had one of those. The chairs of the House Problem Solvers Caucus say a proposed infrastructure compromise is a path forward to getting legislation to President Biden's desk. New Jersey Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer says the proposal has bipartisan support.
It's $1.25 trillion over 8 years, and it's focused on roads, bridges, rails, water infrastructure, resiliency.
He says neither side is going to be completely happy with the bill, but he says it's far better than not getting anything done. Is that what the House Problem Solvers Caucus does? They go, you know what? Nobody's going to be completely happy with this, but it's far better than not getting anything done. Woo! Novel concept, House Problem Solvers Caucus. I'm sorry. I feel like they need to do a better job because we got a lot of problems that haven't been solved. Okay. Organizers of the Tokyo Olympics say they'll allow some local fans to go to the games when they open next month. They say there will be a limit of 50% capacity up to a maximum of 10,000 fans at all venues. Officials say fans won't be allowed to cheer and must wear face masks. You won't be allowed to cheer and must wear face mask. The face mask part. Okay, fine, I get that. Fine. But what? So your team Japan in this case, wins. And what, you just sit there and silent, and what, do a golf clap? What? Fans from other countries were banned a few months ago. 2 European Championship soccer matches in Hungary are being investigated for potential discrimination. ABC's Inez de la Cutera says images on social media showed people holding up anti-LGBTQ banners at the game between Hungary and Portugal.
The match was taking place in Hungary, and the incident comes just days after Hungary's parliament passed legislation banning the dissemination of content in schools deemed to promote homosexuality and gender change.
The other incident being investigated involved racist actions at a separate game between France and Hungary. A stork that's really a diaper truck named Tom Tom has been flying around Orange County to help out during the pandemic.
Community Action Partnership OC started sending out the diaper truck to help with its delivery of almost 11 million diapers in the last year. The nonprofit says even though everything is reopened, diaper prices have jumped almost 9%, and many families are still struggling from the pandemic. CAPOC says it needs continued support for its OC Diaper Bank that has been supplying 2 million diapers to 70 community-based organizations each month. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Claudette is back, and now she is a tropical storm for the second time over North Carolina. It's being blamed for causing bad driving conditions that led to a multi-car pileup in Alabama that killed 13 people over the weekend. I think 10 of them were kids. The storm also caused flooding in Louisiana.
I've got about 2 feet of water in the house, maybe 1.5 feet.
Forecasters say Claudette's expected to head out to sea later today. A tornado has damaged about a dozen homes and injured at least 4 people near Chicago. Gary Rivers was out working when it touched down, and he had to shelter under an ATM. He posted a video of it on Facebook.
I'm stuck, literally stuck, under the ATM vestibule, waiting for the storm to calm down so I can move towards the car.
The tornado was part of a line of severe storms that brought heavy rain and damaging winds across Naperville. The Biden administration's national security advisor says he's working on getting the U.S. and Iran together to talk about a new treaty to end sanctions. Jake Sullivan says something similar is also being worked on for North Korea.
Time will tell. What President Biden has communicated is that the United States is prepared to engage in principled negotiations with North Korea.
He says it's important right now to keep Iran from getting nuclear weapons. So, let's talk more about Iran with ABC's Tom Rivers, because Iran has elected a new president. But check this out. Yeah, it was a landslide victory, but you had all these people who boycotted voting because they said this vote's fixed anyways. So this new president now, a lot of people are saying, while he does support nuclear talks, I guess, if you thought that maybe this was going to be a more kinder, gentler Iran, think again. Apparently this guy is more hardlined than we've even seen in the past. So we'll talk more about the new president of Iran with Tom in just a few minutes. Right now, let's take a look at a stall on the 101.
A southbound side at Barham and on the Cahuenga Pass is a stalled car that's taken away that right lane. Your right starts to load up as you come away from Lancashire. Heading to the northbound side of the 101 in Hollywood, there's a work zone between Highland and the 134. The 3 left lanes are closed until 6 a.m. And they're also doing work in Brea, 57 northbound between Brea Canyon Road and Pathfinder. The 2 left lanes are closed until 6 a.m. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Soren Crook.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Not to be a backseat driver, but if you need to hire great people fast, you need Indeed. Sponsor a job, and you'll immediately get a list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. More at Indeed.com/credit.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Caltrans. See Work Zone Alert.
Jon Rahm claimed the U.S. Open for his first major golf title. 2 weeks ago, a positive COVID test forced him to withdraw from the Memorial Tournament with a 6-stroke lead. The Dodgers held off a late rally to sweep the Diamondbacks. True Blue opens a 3-game series against the Padres today. And the Clippers dropped their Western Conference Finals debut. Devin Booker posted his first career triple-double to lift the Suns past the Clips in Game 1. I'm Misty Jordan.
Every day, Caltrans workers risk their lives to make our roads safe. They are someone's loved one. Please use extra caution when you drive through a work zone. Always be work zone alert.
I don't have to tell you how hot it got over the weekend, and if you were like me, you were drinking much more water than you did even a week ago. But a lot of people were drinking more bottled water. Well, forget those plastic water bottles and refresh with filtered water coming right out of every tap in your home with a Life Source Whole House water system. A Life Source water system reduces the odor and taste of chlorine from your water without using salt or chemicals. And speaking of chemicals, you know how bad and drying chlorine can be on your skin and hair. How would you like to get that out of there? You will be bathing and showering without the drying effects of that chlorine. And with Life Source water, every faucet, like I said, becomes a convenient place to flip on the tap and get your clean, delicious water. So no matter if you're cleaning upstairs after 87 people were in your house over the weekend and you're hot and sweaty and all you want is a glass of water, go to whatever. If you're cleaning the bathtub, flip that thing on. You're good to go. And hey, buy right now and in celebration of the 4th of July, Life Source Water, look at you. Life Source Water will pay your sales tax. You can take advantage of huge savings and experience filtered water for your entire home. This offer ends soon, so act today. Get a maintenance-free Life Source Whole House water system and say goodbye to filter changes and all those monthly exchange tanks. So call Life Source today and get full service and full confidence in your water. Call them at 1-800-334-5009. That's 1-800-334-5009. Or just visit lifesourcewater.com. Life Source Water. Taste and feel the difference.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Your first step towards your dream kitchen should be a totally free in-showroom consultation with my friends at the Kitchen Store. Experienced kitchen designers, a 7,000 square foot showroom, state-of-the-art computer design, 12-month same as cash financing, pricing that beats the big boxes, all right off the 405 in Culver City. For more than 50 years, the Kitchen Store is the place for kitchen cabinets. Dial 310-KITCHEN. That's 310-KITCHEN, or find them on the web at 310kitchen.com.
If you're like me, you can't wait to travel, but a lot of destinations want a negative COVID-19 test. That's where COVID Clinic comes in. COVID Clinic has 1-hour COVID-19 PCR tests to travel to almost anywhere in the world. They'll even help with your travel documentation. Make your trip prep easy by doing your COVID-19 testing at one of the many fast and even drive-through COVID Clinic locations near you. So whether you need a COVID-19 PCR test for travel, school, or you just want an antigen test, go to covidclinic.org. Restrictions apply. Go to covidclinic.org.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is
pretty bad.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The new COVID relief bill pays businesses up to $10,000 in tax rebates per employee per quarter. And if you receive PPP money, your business likely qualifies. Trouble is figuring out how to get your hands on the money. InnovationRefunds.com got me and my partner a 6-figure refund. I mean, they're good. Their world-class CPAs crack the code on how to access these tax rebates. They do the legwork and share a percentage of the cash they get back for you. Over 6,000 businesses, over $450 million. Now, this is $10,000 per employee per quarter. Go to innovationrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions. Innovationrefunds.com. No risk. It's a high reward. They certainly help me, and they can help you too. That's innovationrefunds.com, innovationrefunds.com.
Hi, it's John and Ken. There's only one app where you can find your favorite radio stations like KFI AM 640 or your favorite music stations and hundreds of thousands of podcasts anywhere you are and anytime you want. It's the free iHeart app.
Yeah, and this week it's all about true crime podcasts, from Crime Junkie to Dateline.
Or binge captivating series like Exit Scam or The Devil Within. True Crime Podcast Week is here.
Ready, set, start listening only on the free iHeart app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp with another tip on how to upgrade your landscape lighting. Steal your neighbor's trees. Seriously, maybe your yard doesn't have a big, beautiful feature tree, but there's one right on the other side of the fence. So shine a respectful accent light up into that canopy and make it part of your view. Our lighting pirates we be.
Home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, on KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome to a new week. June 21st already. How'd that happen? I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, and some of the stories we're watching in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Well, a Muslim employee of the LA school district is suing the district, alleging she was treated differently by a manager who gave favorable treatment to Latino employees and told the plaintiff to get psychological help. The LA Superior Court lawsuit alleges racial and religious discrimination, whistleblower retaliation, and failure to prevent discrimination. And organizers of the Olympics in Tokyo say they will allow some fans to go to the games when they open next month. They say there will be a limit of 50% capacity up to a maximum of 10,000 fans at all venues. Officials say fans won't be allowed to cheer and must wear face masks. 5:35, we'll talk with ABC's Aaron Katursky. So speaking of face masks, you've got most states on the East Coast and West Coast pretty much getting back to normal. So we'll talk with him just briefly about how New York is faring. But more importantly, I want to talk with him about this Delta variant of COVID-19. And it seems that we're seeing a rise in cases of the Delta variant in the Midwest specifically. So we'll talk with Aaron more about that in just a few minutes. Right now, let's say good morning to Tom Rivers. So Tom, tell us all about Iran's new president.
Yeah, we got a new name we got to get used to. Ibrahim Raisi. He is the new president in Iran, 60 years of age. He was formerly the top judge, kind of in bed with the top hard right-wing, if you will, cleric section of society there. And, yeah, he's going to be running. And, of course, it was a difficult election for people out there. Turnout was very low simply because the officials there kind of kicked other people out of the race. They only had 4 individuals in this race, kind of hand-picked. So there you go. He won by 62% for the record. But again, some others that may have wanted to be in this race simply weren't allowed to.
Is this almost a sign of things to come when it comes to people saying, forget this guy, it was rigged anyway, we're not following his rules?
Yeah, I mean, the country right now is very lethargic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
As you know, demographically, it's very, very young. And it's got 2 problems facing the West, if you will. One, they're trying, and it looks like they have more talks even on Sunday. Some technical issues were resolved, trying to get the U.S. back on board with the rest of the permanent members of the Security Council, plus Germany, on the nuclear deal. Okay, if you can solve that part of the puzzle, you still have the U.S. sanctions in place. And, not only, those are designed to, go for the top 24, senior officials in the government, but guess what? It affects every man, woman, child in the country. So, yeah, they feel really under a cloud there. So they would like to see those sanctions lifted if the deal can be formulated whereby the U.S. can come back on board. That would change the climate a lot because, the younger people in that country certainly want to engage with the West, the rest of the world. So, watch his space. Although this guy's a hardliner, he says, step one, let's try to get this deal renegotiated and then see where things go.
It's so interesting because when I saw that it was him who had gotten elected, it started making me think two things. So I did a little research on him, and like you said, he's interested in talking about a nuclear deal and that sort of thing. That's right. But with the sanctions on him, then what comes next? But I think that the other thing that I've seen is that he does not seem like a guy that's interested in sitting down and talking with people. He is so hardline, especially when it comes to his religion, that it seems like he's almost more of a... we're going to keep our people. We don't need to sit down with everybody else. Maybe he'd be willing to negotiate in that one area. And to the U.S., that's a huge area. So, of course, we'd be willing to talk in that case. But I don't feel like he seems to be... that he seems to be leaning toward being flexible on any other subject, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, this has been raised as well. Would he be willing to sit down and talk to President Biden? He says that no, at this stage, no.
Right.
He says, let's solve the nuclear deal. Yes. You lift your sanctions. Yes. And then I'll talk. He says, I don't want to engage with you before then. And given what the country's been through, I think there's probably going to be, at least on that particular point of view, some support for him in Iran, saying let us re-engage with other countries. Then we can sit down and talk. No, we're not putting the cart before the horse on that.
And I mean, in a weird way, I sort of get his. I think his phrase was something like, "We're not having conversation for conversation's sake," or something like that. In a way, I guess if he figures, we're just going to sit down at the table and we're going to talk and look at each other and smile and nod and nothing changes, why would you sit down at the table?
Yeah. Well, exactly, and that's a way of getting noticed as well.
Right.
And, you better come to the table with something. We're not just going to stay in 5-star hotels in Vienna and rock up 6 months of doing nothing. If you're ready to play ball, we'll play ball.
All right, Tom, thank you for the update on him. It'll be interesting.
Yep, it will be.
All right, see you later. ABC's Tom Rivers. I don't know. So this guy obviously needs to make a name for himself, although, I mean, he has been around for a long time. But you start doing a little hard line with the U.S., like, hey, I'm not sitting down with you until you say something's in concrete, you lift these sanctions, and then we'll go from there. You see what his strategy is. Is that going to be effective? We'll see. All right, so, told you I'd explain what I did over the last week. It was awesome. As I mentioned, my whole family came down, so my mom, dad, brother, sister-in-law, and my 3 nephews, and it was great. We did tons of swimming. We did lots of, dinners out with friends who live down here and that sort of thing so that everybody could get seen, could see each other. And then probably the most fun things that we did was we went to 2 baseball games. So we saw the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Oh, what? Why have I lived here 7 months and not gone to a game yet? What? That was awesome. And so we've got pictures up on that, JJLKFI. We went to the racetrack. So my dad, he's a conservative guy with his money, he doesn't take a lot of risks, right? So Dad, though, at the racetrack, we've maybe been there, I don't know, we got there 1:30-ish, and let's say it's 4. And they're racing till 6. And we're, I mean, we've been there a few hours. We spent, trust me, we're not big gamblers. I'm the girl who bets $2 win place show on horse number 6. That's me. Anyway, so, Dad, well, why would we leave before the last race? We should probably stay till, I mean, what else are we doing? Oh, what's up, gambling addict? Anyway, needless to say, sorry, Dad. I think we, lost 20, 40 more of your bucks, but it was awesome. They loved it. And what was cool for my mom is my mom and Dad met at Eisenhower High School in San Bernardino, and I know that when she was a kid, her parents used to go to Santa Anita, so that was cool that they got to see that. And as we all know, Santa Anita hasn't changed. So she's like, oh, I bet my mom and Dad walked through here. So that was pretty neat. And then, as I mentioned with Gary and Shannon a couple weeks ago, for Father's Day, I thought, what do you get for my dad, who is a Giants fan, my husband, who is a Braves fan, and me, I don't really want to go to either of those games. I want to sit there and watch a Dodger game, let's be honest. And my mom's, she's just there. She likes to wear the hat. She likes to wear the shirt, whatever. My mom is the best. She'll go along with whatever. Anyway, so I thought, well, what's the Switzerland of baseball for us? The Angels. None of us get mad at the Angels. All of it, whatever. Plus, Shohei Ohtani, who doesn't want to go see that guy play right now? So we went to an Angels game. Absolutely worth it. Not only that, but Shohei Ohtani, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are this morning, thank you for the home run. Appreciate that. That's what I told my dad. I said, I would love to see Shohei Ohtani hit a home run, just so I can say I saw it. Boom, and he does it. Asked and answered. I appreciate it. Anyway, it was great. Hope all the dads out there listening this morning, whether you are a furry kid dad like my husband or you are a dad like my dad, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And Dad, Mom, everybody, thanks for coming down this weekend. And again, Layla, thanks for giving me some time off. If you could maybe fill in for me again this week so I can just sleep and clean and recover, I would appreciate it. All right, when we come back, we'll talk with ABC's Aaron Katursky. You got all these states on the East and West Coast who are, hey, we're great, we're doing really well when it comes to COVID-19, we're getting back to normal. But then you have the Delta variant that seems to have cases rising in the Midwest specifically, so we'll get details on the Delta variant when we talk with Aaron in just a second. Right now, let's see what the stall is on the 405.
Northbound side at Valley View. It's in Westminster. It's a stalled car blocking the right lane. In Pomona, there's another stall on the 57 southbound at the 10. It's on the transition to 10 west. And in Mid-City on the eastbound side of the 10 just before Robertson, the crash has left one car facing the wrong way along the right shoulder. KFI in the sky helps get even faster. Who's Lauren from?
At BMW, we didn't make just one SUV, we made the ultimate range of SUVs. And because each of the 7 X-Range sports activity vehicles flawlessly balance dynamic power, spacious size, and sleek design, you can choose from a fleet that fits perfectly into your life. Like the versatile X1, which has adaptable suspension that makes it easy to conquer any road. Or the X3, which has an unbelievably spacious interior while also delivering agile handling and performance. Then there's the X7, which is the culmination of comfort and luxury and the biggest BMW ever created. We're confident that no matter who you are, no matter where you're going, no matter what's next, there's an X to take you there.
Now through June 30th, lease a 2021 BMW X3 S-Drive 30i for $449 per month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. Visit SoCalBMW.com today for details.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got sunshine after the low clouds and fog this morning. Highs today will be in the upper 60s to the very low 90s. Look like we'll stay that way for the next couple of days, and then toward the end of the week, though, it looks like we will start to warm it up into the low to mid 90s again. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. If you've decided to sell your house, I know it is tempting to just get it listed as is or even take one of those cash out deals. But why sell yourself short?